Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can layer your glycolic acid toner, also called lotion, and hyaluronic acid serum. Now they can be used together. You have on one hand your glycolic acid. This is an AHA exfoliant. It is usually recommended if you have normal to dry skin, since it helps to thicken the skin, hydrates the skin, increases the collagen production, which then automatically gives you some anti-aging benefits. Plus, since it loosens the dead skin cells on the skin surface, overall it helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Then it even helps to improve textured skin and reduce surface hyperpigmentation, even sun-damaged skin. Now, those are the benefits when working with glycolic acid. Then on the other hand, you have your hyaluronic acid. This isn't an exfoliant, it's purely an hydrating ingredient. So it helps to hydrate and plump the skin, although those effects are only temporary while using the product. And due to the plumpness that hyaluronic acid can give you, it even can, you can say that it has anti-aging benefits too, because then this helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Now, generally speaking, I recommend working with your exfoliant in your evening skincare routine, since first of all, it will make the skin sensitive to the sun when continuously using it, since due to the exfoliation, the new skin cells are a bit more sensitive. This can easily lead to sun damage, like sunburn basically, which then would increase sun damaged skin. So therefore, my best advice would be using it in the evening. Along with that specific suggestion, I also recommend using it in the evening because you sometimes may come across issues when using your glycolic acid in the morning and you would layer your sunscreen afterwards. For some reason, this sometimes, as I've tried it myself, can lead to stinging or burning with certain sunscreens. I'm not sure what exactly happens, but if that's the case, I recommend just using it in the evening. Theoretically, it isn't wrong to use your glycolic acid in the morning as well, but this is just from my experience, but I cannot recommend you what would work the best based on the layering and reducing sensitivity in general. And so this is how I have set up my example morning and evening skincare routine as well. And I kept my focus mainly on targeting normal to dry skin, since this would be what the combination can be suitable for. And so therefore, when first of all in the morning, just using your hyaluronic acid, theoretically, you can use any cleanser. This could be an exfoliating acid cleanser. This could even be just a gentle cleanser. Just make sure that it's working really well for your specific skin type. So if you have more normal skin, look for a cleanser that's great for all skin types, that does not dry out your skin in any way. If you have a drier skin type, look for a cleanser that's suitable for dry skin. Generally speaking, to keep it as simple as possible and to make sure that you're not going to over-exfoliate your skin, I mainly picked gentle cleansers that you can see right here to wash the face. And so then wash your face with your cleanser, then rinse it off, remove the water drops from the skin surface. Then, as already mentioned, I prefer to work with glycolic acid in the evening. So during daytime, you just would use your hyaluronic acid, apply to the skin, leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. And then during daytime, when being exposed to the sun, please don't forget to apply your sunscreen 10 to 15 minutes before sun exposure. This can be a moisturizer that already contains SPF or regular sunscreen that works well for your skin type. There are regular sunscreens that have great hydrating formulations where you do not need to use a moisturizer beforehand, as this is already enough. It protects the skin and hydrates the skin well enough. Then here you have a simple example of a morning skincare routine. And again, below the little boxes where I mentioned certain products, you can find a general guide as well. Now for the evening skincare routine, we are going to add glycolic acid to the routine. So first of all, here it is really important to work with only a gentle cleanser. Please avoid exfoliating acid cleansers because you're already using your glycolic acid. So use your gentle, non-exfoliating acid cleanser that's working well for your skin type. Wash your face, rinse it off. Then you're moving on to glycolic acid, apply to the skin, leave it on the skin, and then move on to hyaluronic acid, and then there you have it. Depending on your overall skin needs and depending on how much dryness you may have, you could, as an optional step, follow with a moisturizer afterwards. But it isn't necessary. It is fine to just use your glycolic acid and hyaluronic acid as well without a moisturizer. So see what works the best for you, and overall it depends on the hyaluronic acid formulation that you may be using as well, because there are certain formulations that are already hydrating enough because they may include other ingredients as well, and therefore using a moisturizer afterwards may not be needed. So if that's the case, just skip the moisturizer. Now, if you shouldn't be able to properly remove your sunscreen and or makeup that you have worn throughout the day, I recommend doing a double cleanse. If your usual cleanser isn't strong enough to remove it properly, then use your micellar water at first, or your oil or balm cleanser, and then move on to your gentle cleanser afterwards to make sure that everything comes properly off the skin. And then there you have an example of an evening skincare routine and the layering. Now, I want to quickly emphasize one more important thing, which you will find in those example routines as well below as a general guide, and this would be a little frequency guide. So it depends on the glycolic acid that you may have. There are certain strengths available, and it depends on if you're being completely new to a glycolic acid product or not. So if you're completely new to it, I recommend going with the lowest strength possible so that you then can see what your skin can tolerate. Because the higher up you're going in strength, the more sensitivity and irritation it can give you depending on the sensitivity of your skin. And in general, if you have really sensitive skin, you wouldn't work with a glycolic acid at all. You would look for something else like BHA or PHA depending on your skin type too. But this would be then for another video. But when working with your exfoliant in general, the frequency is important because using it too often can really lead to stinging and burning since your skin may not need that much exfoliation. So as a general guide, if you have a glycolic acid that contains more than 5% of glycolic acid, start off by using it 2 to 3 times per week, once per day, ideally in your evening skincare routine. Then see how this frequency goes, try this out for a few weeks. If it's already giving you some benefits, there's no need to increase the frequency. If you feel like, well, you want to add it up, well, then the next step would be using it every other day, once per day. And then if that still shouldn't be enough, you can use it up to once per day daily. To some extent, if you have a lower percentage, like 5% and below, you could even work with your glycolic acid daily in the morning and or evening. But overall, I recommend starting off slowly so that you can see what your skin needs, so that you can reduce the likelihood of experiencing irritation or let's say over exfoliation as well. So please keep this guide in mind and take your time when adjusting to your exfoliant. As for your hyaluronic acid, you can use it daily in the morning and or evening. There aren't any specific concerns. So if you want to now have a look in your own time over the example skincare routines, you want to have an overall cleansing guide, the products that I have chosen, the layering guide, and even the sunscreen guide, you will find it in the description box down below so that you have all the PowerPoint slides on one page and you can even download them. Now I want to keep my focus on the entire application, so let's get started. The first step is going to be your cleansing step. So you can wash your face above the sink or take the cleanser with you in the shower. Either way is fine. If you can use it in the shower, this is what I highly recommend, since it is very convenient and you're making sure that everything comes properly off the skin. When washing the face above the sink and just using your hands, this sometimes can be tricky to make sure that there's no residue left. So therefore, I recommend when doing this above the sink, working with a soft and fresh washcloth that you can wet, and this can help you to remove the residue from the skin surface when doing so. And so this is now the guide that I want to share with you so that you can see this tip as well. So I mainly want to keep my focus on an evening skincare routine, as already mentioned earlier, since I recommend using your glycolic acid in the evening and so that you can see the proper layering, then this would be an evening routine. Now I'm going to get started with the cleansing step, which is going to be CeraVe's Hydrating Facial Cleanser. This is just one example. If you have a different one, replace it. Just make sure to read on the back of the packaging that it is first of all a gentle cleanser when working with your exfoliant already, and how you need to use it. Because with certain cleansers that are suitable for dry skin, they sometimes will tell you can apply to wet skin or to dry skin. So then I recommend following that specific guide to make sure that you can properly wash your face. In that example, it is advised to apply it on wet skin. So the first step that I'm now going to do is wetting my face, neck and hands with lukewarm water to warm water. That's what I always recommend so it feels comfortable on the skin. And then I'm using about 1 to 2 pumps, which is more or less about a coin size amount. And then I'm massaging it all over my face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute before rinsing it off again with water. So let's go ahead and do this. So now go ahead and take a fresh towel and remove the water drops from the skin surface. So once you're done with your cleansing step, you can immediately move on to the next step. So during daytime, this would be immediately your hyaluronic acid. In the evening, it would be your glycolic acid and then hyaluronic acid. Now, I want to emphasize one important point, which I often see in my comments, so I do want to cover this as well. And this is what is actually damp skin and how effective is it to apply products on damp skin and how effective is it to apply products on dry skin. Now, damp skin refers to removing the water drops, basically the excess water that's still on the skin surface, with a towel. So while you have washed your face, your skin absorbs the water and this makes the skin damp. So now the way I have patted down the water drops from the skin surface, my skin currently is damp. It will stay damp for about half an hour, more or less. And so if you do not really have sensitive skin in general and you tolerate your glycolic acid product really well, you can immediately move on to the application of your glycolic acid product, and then there you have it. However, if you should have more sensitive skin and in general applying products to dry skin works best for you, then you can go ahead and wait about half an hour, maybe 15 to 30 minutes in between, depending on how quickly your skin may dry, and then you're going to move on to the application of your glycolic acid. But then we are going to be in a certain not really conflict, where you would say, well, if you have already sensitive skin, you wouldn't use a glycolic acid product in the first place. So therefore it does not really make any sense in this specific circumstances. So therefore, if you know that your skin tolerates your glycolic acid well, remove the water drops from the skin surface and then immediately move on to your glycolic acid and then move on to the application of your hyaluronic acid. If you're using your hyaluronic acid during daytime just on its own, the same thing applies. Please do not apply your hyaluronic acid on still wet skin where you can see the water drops on the skin surface, because this really often leads to, first of all, smearing around the formulation. This can feel quite uncomfortable. Then once this dries, your skin feels dry and tight, and when then layering other products afterwards, such as your sunscreen or in the evening your moisturizer, this can even lead to pilling. So this is quite annoying. Therefore, I really recommend, please do not apply your skin, your skincare products on still wet skin. Remove the water drops from the skin surface and then do the application. And so now I'm going to move on to the next step, which is going to be after cleansing the glycolic acid in the evening skincare routine. So I have 3 examples right here. If you have a glycolic acid product that's a bit more like a lotion and it has a pump, go with 1 to 2 pumps. If you have one like the Beauty of Joseon Bubble Toner, that one is liquid, has a pump and it comes out like foam, then I recommend going with 1 pump. Or if you should have a glycolic acid toner, such as the one from The Ordinary, where you can theoretically count the drops, then I recommend, if you want to apply it with your hands, go with 5 to 10 drops for your face and neck, or you can do the application with a cotton pad. And when using a cotton pad, I prefer to apply it with my hands, by the way, but I'm going to show you with a cotton pad as well. You can soak it up, but please make sure to not soak it up in a way that it's dripping wet. So make sure that you have enough product that your skin feels slightly damp once you are going to swap the cotton pad around, and then there you have it. So about that much, more or less. You can adjust the amount depending on the cotton pads that you're using, because they're going to absorb quite a bit of product. But what I wanted to teach you is you do not need to wet the entire cotton pad. Usually I would go with about a coin size amount, but this sometimes may not be enough, therefore you can add a bit more. But when applying it with your hands, and it has a very thin texture, and you can dispense the product and you can even count the drops, go with about 5 to 10 drops. Then rub your hands together and then evenly blend it all over. Please make sure to not get it into your eyes, nor into your mouth. Please do not use it on top of your eyelids, nor get it too close to the actual lower lash line or even the lips itself. So once you're done with the application of your glycolic acid product, you're going to leave it on the skin desk, no need to wash it off. And now you can immediately move on to the next step, which is the application of your hyaluronic acid serum. Please do not spritz your skin again with water. This is not needed. Just immediately apply your hyaluronic acid afterwards. And then again, I have a few examples right here of hyaluronic acid serums. I have ones from Timeless, Ordinary, or even Vichy. So depending on the hyaluronic acid serum that you may have, if it has a pump, go with 1 to 2 pumps. If it should have a drop bar and it has a much thinner texture, use between 4 to 6 drops. If it is thicker, stickier, go with 2 to 3 drops as a general guide. This should be enough for your face and neck to do a proper application. And then blend it evenly all over on top of your glycolic acid. So once you're done with the application of your hyaluronic acid serum, you can stop right here. If this is going to be your evening skincare routine, you do not need to use a moisturizer. However, depending on your overall skin type and depending on how much dryness you may experience and the serum that you have used, and it shouldn't feel hydrating enough, you can follow on with a moisturizer afterwards. Then use about a bean-sized amount, apply it evenly on top, and then there you have the last step of your evening skincare routine. However, I want to keep my main focus on the glycolic acid and hyaluronic acid layering guides. Now, please again, don't forget during daytime to follow with sun protection. This is really important, not only because of your previous skin concerns, but because you're working with an exfoliant as well. Now, if you want to now learn more about how you can, for example, apply your hyaluronic acid and your sunscreen in the same routine, I have a specific guide for you that I'm going to link at the end of this video. And if you want to know more about certain skincare products and see the applications, you will find it at the end of this video as well, and you will find more of them on my YouTube channel. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, that you find it helpful. If you did so, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up as well as share it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skincaring. Bye.